And we only have one item on the agenda, I believe, today. But I guess we usually ask for if anybody else is tuning in here for public comment. So I'll first ask: do we have any public attending via Zoom?
Carol Zace is on, but I don't have any comment.
All right, thank you, Carol. All right, then we'll move right on to our agenda item, which is a vehicle for the department, a vehicle need, which is based upon some COVID-related matters. And Chris, maybe I'll just ask you to briefly summarize where we're at. You've done some research on a number of options. If you could just quickly summarize that for us, that'd be great.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. As you know, this is discussed the lack of a fourth vehicle, so that everybody has their vehicle to drive. I know that there's been thought out there about not needing a fourth vehicle. I'm pretty adamant about needing one. I don't want two guys in one truck. I want them to social distance as the governor asks. I understand they can be in there and wear a mask and everything. But if one of my guys gets sick, or two of them in a truck, that's depleting half my force and maybe everybody. I don't have a way to stop it from going through here unless we try to follow the rules as best to our abilities. So we are just here.
Could I add something?
Go ahead.
I would like to reiterate what you just said. I understand that there are some organizations that are allowing two people in a vehicle, but to my knowledge, there are no utilities that are doing that because of their interactions with the public and because they are not paramedics and EMTs. They do not have the proper training nor the personal protection gear to be able to deal with the public in a situation that they have to deal with them in constantly. So I think when you say that, oh yeah, there are some vehicles even in the district that are being operated by two or more people, those are people that are trained professionals in healthcare. That's not what we are. We're a utility, and we provide water, and we have to deal with multiple situations. So I just don't think for us that it works having two people in a vehicle at this point in time. Thank you. And this was Tom Hopkins.
Okay. Thank you for that comment, Tom. And I agree with you. I think this is a special circumstance. They're a very small staff. So let's move on, Chris, with the options that you identified. I think we're on board with the fact that we can't have more than one person in a vehicle during this crisis, and we don't know how long this is going to last. So you've identified a number of vehicle options. Do you want to quickly summarize those?
Yes, quickly. I actually looked into. I was asked to look into a leasing option. Leasing options right now are 3, 4, and 5 year. They don't do under a 3-year lease. Every leasing company I talked to, except for the one through CVEC right now, is taking the complete price of a brand new vehicle and financing it for you. They're not giving you any kind of deal. If it costs $30, they make you spend $10,000 plus 5 point something interest over 3 years. So you're going to pay more with a lease in the end, for sure. Except for the CVEC option that I had brought up before, which is maybe set up the same way, but there is a government debate behind on it. It was an email transaction that I put out to you guys there. The gentleman, CVEC, which is Cape and Vineyard Electric, and through Barnstable County, I could get a hybrid vehicle through them for a one-time payment of, I think, here it is, was $16,375, possibly lower than that. They would ask for 3 competitive bids, and it could be lower. And there would be a $3,000 rebate from the government. I believe it's Massachusetts, sent to them for a rebate check afterwards. I don't believe, because you're getting a rebate, that the possibility of a COVID reimbursement would happen with that, because then you'd be kind of double dipping. It isn't
Chris,
always.
just to clarify. I'm sorry, Chris. This is Scott. Just a quick clarification. This is the Subaru Crosstrek that you're talking about now.
Correct.
And
Correct.
I did have one clarification question on that. The $13,375, it says for 3 years. Is that for the entire 3-year period?
Yes, it is. That's one payment, 3
Sounds
years.
like, yeah. So that's
It's-
probably the lowest cost option, correct?
It is. It's an all-wheel drive. I don't know how reliable all-wheel drive is in the winter. When we're in the middle of a snowstorm and I have to be here, but it's an option there for us. It's not one that I would prefer, the all-wheel drive option, but if it's there, if this is what we have to do, this is what we have to do. I'm fine with that.
Mr. Chairman, this is Mark.
Yes. Yes, Mark.
Chris, can you clarify that basically what happened originally is that you gave up your truck so that your staff could have access to the department vehicles. So are we replacing a vehicle for you, or are you going to be taking back your vehicle and we're looking for a fourth vehicle for the junior operator?
What I am doing is looking at an option here for a smaller vehicle, like the Ranger or the Colorado, the Colorado, something smaller. If I could find some kind of sport ute for me, basically, because I don't go out in the field as much. I have to keep those other trucks equipped to handle emergencies in the case of emergency. So this would be something that wouldn't have but a very basic, 2 wrenches, maybe something to do a mark out, something to do a meter reading, little stuff like that on there, just for mark outs and stuff like that could be done for light duty.
So it doesn't have to be a big utility truck.
Correct.
Great.
That was the intention.
Thank you.
So this is, no problem. So those are my options on the leasing or quote leasing with the companies now through municipal bid. The other one is I went to another.
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay. We have 3 companies on the Plymouth County purchasing bid that we're part of. MHQ has all Ford vehicles. Liberty Chevrolet has all Chevy. And I believe the other is Central Chrysler Dodge has those. I called these 3 different places and asked them what they had on the lot, because I was kind of saying I'd like to find something right away, and to order it usually will take anywhere from 3 to 6 months, depending on the availability of vehicles. They build them usually after we order them. So they have some stuff on lot. So this is what I got prices on. The Ford, they had something on lot that they'd be willing to paint. It was a Ford Ranger, and it was up to $31,000, $31,400. I asked them if they had any kind of sport ute hybrid, and they did have the Ford Escape there, and that was $27,125, and that's the all-wheel drive. Chevy has a 4-wheel drive Colorado. Actually, they have 2 of them that were $27,634 for outright. And Dodge had 2 different vehicles around that were on the lot. One was a classic Dodge Crew Cab, very similar to the one I have out there now. And they have one that they call a Warlock, which is a smaller engine, but kind of hopped up vehicle, which kind of flashy. They had those in stock. They do not make anything the Dakota anymore, any smaller vehicle. All they have is the 1500s. So, and theirs were 27 for and a half basically for the Warlock, and 28.7 for the regular one. So I kind of put those out. I've got what I can find right now. I did not look into daily leasing or anything like that, but I didn't think that was much of an option, to tell you the truth. So I
Chris,
guess I'm
this is Scott again. I don't think we need to go to the daily. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead and finish.
No, I'm looking for opinions here, if we want to persist something or how we want to go with this. I can tell you what I would like to do, but, you know, you guys make the final decision on this.
Well, I have one follow-up question to Mark's, and that is, I understand that the Subaru, which is apparently the low-cost option, I understand that was not your ideal vehicle for yourself. But I guess I want to go back to what Mark was asking about, and that is, would these be interchangeable? Meaning, if that vehicle was sort of designated as, certainly during winter use, the last one to go out and do something sort of in an emergency, because I agree with you, certainly, you know, a pickup truck with higher clearance is more dependable, but we've got a few of those, correct? And I'm wondering, would they be, in your mind, interchangeable? Meaning, if you were driving the Subaru most of the time, but then during an emergency event, if you needed to be the guy going out, could you swap to another vehicle to go do that in that situation?
Well, I guess I would think that they would have, usually we don't like anybody plowing alone, so it would have to be, even in this case, somebody following somebody. So we'd have 2 out of the 3 of the vehicles out there now. So I guess if worse came to worse, I could ask one guy to stay home and send him with that vehicle, and if I needed to, I could use that. But I'm usually in an emergency situation on something like that. I'm usually the guy when something's not working, I know what might have happened in the past that has to go down to fix or show or train on it.
Right.
And that's talking about going down more, needing something reliable to get down to the pumping stations to fix or to do something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Tom, any questions?
Commissioner Hoppenstead? Yeah, Commissioner Hoppenstead.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm wondering right now at this point in time is, do we need to select a vehicle, or do we just need to make a motion and move forward with a proposal to purchase a vehicle using stabilization funds, and therefore having to call for a district meeting? So in other words, I would go ahead and say I'll make a motion right now that we pursue the purchase of or lease of a 4th vehicle, and that we utilize water department stabilization funds for said vehicle. And so we need to request a special district meeting to move forward on that.
Okay, I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, Tom. Mark, do you know, or anybody else? Will that be enough? Well, Tom, you were at the last prudential meeting. Do you think that'd be enough of a motion to get their vote to then give us the authority to make a final decision?
Yeah, well, then I think we could take some more time to research options for the vehicle.
I think that would be ideal if that would be enough information for the district meeting.
You know, we might have that for the district meeting then, right? It gives us
Right.
a couple more weeks, and we'll have
Correct.
our August 26th meeting?
Right. No, that make what? So maybe just to clarify your motion, it would be to get authorization on utilizing the stabilization fund, and delay a final decision on which vehicle and which lease until our 26th meeting. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes.
Is there a second on that?
Anything until we get the district's approval.
Correct. Is there a second on that motion? I am not hearing a second. Are you guys still hearing me?
I hear you fine, yes.
Okay. Mark, you still with us?
I am. I had to.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I'm getting electrical fixtures at the same time. Sorry. What was the question?
Okay. Did you understand?
There's been a motion
Did you hear Tom? Did you hear Commissioner Hoppenstadt's motion?
No.
You want to
a
repeat
motion
that?
made to move forward to purchase a fourth vehicle for the water department or purchase or lease a fourth vehicle for the water department, utilizing funds from our water department stabilization fund for the purchase. And so we need to go to the district and ask for a special district meeting in order to access those funds.
Okay. I'll second that. Can I comment?
Certainly. Guess it's been seconded. Further discussion.
Yeah, so this is Mark.
Rob.
I do think that I do prefer the lease option just because it provides us with more flexibility. This may be a very short-term thing. We just don't know. We got along fine with 3 vehicles for a long time. And I understand, we're in a crisis situation. Water is a basic public health utility, and that's all fine and good. But I just think that rushing out to buy a big new truck or even a sport ute doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, given the fact that 6 months from now things might be much different. So I'd hate to get into a long-term thing.
Yeah, thank you for that comment. I do think Commissioner Huppenstall's motion preserves our opportunity to look closer at the options, and I think we should listen carefully to Chris's needs because he's the lead guy here. And I think since it's been seconded, I think I'd like to move the question and get a vote, because I think if we can get to the Prudential Committee, the district meeting, get approval on the use of the funds, this will give us a little more time to sort through, which is really the best option. And I think your comment, Commissioner Robinson, is fine, but that concern or question will still be preserved for our discussion. We could put this on the agenda at the end of the August 26th meeting for further detailed discussion. So
what more information are we going to have between leasing and buying?
Well, I think I certainly am willing to speak with Chris further detail about the needs, because I too have the same kind of feeling you do, Commissioner Robinson. However, again, I want to make sure I fully understand Chris's needs, and if he feels that that the truck, the more clearance is really critical, I'm not going to second guess him. So I think we can, I'll certainly have further discussion. As I said, we can put this on the agenda for the 26th, and if people think about this a little more and have further detailed questions, we can take it up then and make a final decision on the 26th. It's not that far away. And I think the motion will get us the option to use the funding. So I think it's worth a little bit more discussion. Any further comments or discussion on the motion? We have a motion and seconded, and I'd like to get a vote on it unless there's any further comments or questions at this point.
This is Carol. This is Carol Zais. Am I allowed to ask a question?
Sure, certainly.
My only concern is that you don't have a dollar amount yet for a special district meeting. Maybe you don't need it, but I know in the past they have always, all the warrant articles have had an actual dollar amount. That's all. I'm not a professional.
I suppose we could set an upset limit, the highest price up, and just word it as up to a certain amount. Would that think that would be appropriate?
Yes, I would amend the motion to stipulate that said lease or purchase not exceed $35,000.
Yeah, I think that would do it. 31.4 was the highest price, but 35 would certainly cover it. Second on that motion, on that amended motion?
I'll second it. I think that so we're not really making any decision today other than we all agree that it needs to be a fourth vehicle, at least temporarily.
Right. I think we have to get approval to utilize the funding source. And it seems to me that's the most important thing that we do today, given timing. But again, the 26th is 3 weeks away. And like I said, I'm willing to spend a little more time with Chris, and we can have a brief discussion on the 26th before we make the final selection on the vehicle.
There was some thought that there's going to be a special district meeting anyway for some other consideration. Are we trying to meet that?
Yes. So we would want to go to the next Prudential Committee meeting and present our proposal to them, our policy change and direction, and then ask for a special district meeting. But they too are looking at the need for a special district meeting in order to refinance the bonds for the tower so that we can save a couple $100,000 with the new interest rates.
So we're trying to piggyback on some other vote that's necessary for the district. That's good.
Correct.
I would have to call a special district meeting just for this. We just had a district meeting for budgets and things. I would rather have this piggybacked on some other district need.
Sounds like that's the case, right, Tom?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay, so we have an
Call a vote.
amended motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
By name, roll call, please. Mark Robinson,
Aye.
Tom Hupstutz,
Aye.
Scott Horsley, aye. Okay, great. It's unanimous. And we can discuss, I don't know the date of the meeting, Tom. Do you know offhand when it is?
I don't. I think she
All right, well,
said the 10th.
Let's find that out. I don't have my calendar in front of me, but one of us will have to designate to attend that meeting. I'll certainly do it if I can, but I don't know without looking at my calendar. So we can talk about that afterwards. That's okay. Any further business?
Scott,
Motion
do you
to
want
adjourn?
me, Scott,
Okay,
it's
go ahead.
Jen. Do you
Go
want
ahead.
me to notify Fran that we'll be looking to do that
Please.
and find out those dates?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay.
That would be absolutely. If you do that right away, that'd be great. Thank you very much for reminding us of that. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to
Moved.
adjourn.
A second.
Is there a second? Okay, all in
Second.
favor, say aye.
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 All right. Thank you,
Nice
everybody.
day.
We'll be in touch.
Thanks,
Thank you,
folks.
gentlemen. Ladies.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All right.